Today, for the first look, we will be looking at this product here. This is a relatively new one. This is the Holo Audio Cyan 2. This is a new product from Holo Audio, and it comes in about $1,200 USD or about 1,760 Sing dollars with tax in. Now, you can see here there's a tag here, and this is not supposed to be on the device. This is actually a set provided to me by AV1 in Singapore. Thanks to them, they are in Adelphi. They have a lot of Holo Audio products. They carry it, and then they actually loan this demo set to me for the purpose of a very quick initial review and also, comparison with other devices, just to give you guys a quick look at the device itself. But this is the first look, so these are devices that I have never touched before nor heard before, and I want to showcase to you guys how it looks like and what do I feel about its sound in comparison to other devices. Today's comparison will be with the SE300 from AK, and that is also a ladder, but that is more of, say, a portable device, while this is a full-fledged desktop. Just want to hear what's the differences, and the price-wise, not too far apart, but I do hope that this is something worthy to talk about. But before we do that, let's look around the device. Now, you'll see me putting my hand on top because this is a pure black device and my camera hates it. It doesn't focus on black devices. This is actually a very well built device. I have touched it a few times now. This is a brushed metal, full metal construction. So it is a very well made device. You can probably stack a lot of things on it, no issues. Now, you can see Holo Audio Cyan 2. Then you can see all the various connectivity here, power to USB to optical, and then these are all the various bit rates. Now, this is a very simple interface used by many devices such as Quest style, Denafrips, so nothing too new, nothing too special here, and it is very clear. You just plug things in and lights come up. And then you can move around. Now, this device is made of metal. You can see that there's this orange panel here. Now, this is probably some sort of not too sure what material is this, but it looks pretty good. Adds a bit of flair to the device itself. Same for the other side. Now, if you look at the back, this is where the outputs are. This is XLRs, and then these RCAs, balanced and unbalanced. And then followed by the inputs. Now, this is coaxial, I2S, then there is optical. USB is using the newest specification, version 3, but I'm pretty sure you can plug a version 2 in. I'm going to try it later. And then this AES, followed by power. The only thing you can interact with is the power switch. And that's all. Now, if you look at the bottom, they have the serial number, and then of course its input. So it is a 220 volt input. You cannot plug it into 120 volts, you will blow the device up, and that's really about it. So you can see that this is a very, very simple device, Holo Audio Cyan 2. Now, without wasting time, let's take a listen to the sound and of course do a simple comparison with my SE300. Modern DACs are very good. Without comparison, you really can't tell the difference. I mean, we can say anything we want, unless the DAC is faulty. Most likely, it's just very minute differences, and I want to share with you in this video today. Once again, thanks to AV1 for loaning me this copy. Do visit them if you want to try any Holo Audio products. And with that, let's set it up and then have a quick listen, and I'll give you my honest first impression on this device. Now that I have set everything up, this is the Holo Audio Cyan 2, and I'm powering it through USB, very hassle-free, plug in and play. I didn't even use the special USB connector, the bigger one, which is the version 3. Just the version 2 also works out really nicely. Now, this is the Emblem amp, and I'll be using the DCA Stealth. This is a planar magnetic headphone that is closed back, and it is a perfect combination. This and this amp is perfect. Now, the connection will be through a RCA because Emblem only accepts RCA. I think that is fair. Some people are still using RCA for various reasons. And then this is the transport and also the comparison DAC. This is the SE300 from AK. This is also a ladder DAC, and I'll be using it as a transport to listen some songs. Then I'll use it as a comparison also, feeding into the Emblem and then hearing it on the DCA Stealth. Now, I do not have any other desktop DACs that are of this price. Usually is way cheaper or way more expensive. So my best comparison is the SE300 here, which is also the same style, a ladder DAC. Without wasting time, let's take the first listen. This is Backlight Replica from Vonde. Vonde wrote this song and it is given to Ado to sing in one piece. Now, Vonde sings this song himself also, and it is a very different take, very interesting, and I love it. If you're interested in Japanese male rock, this is one of the singers that you can follow, Vonde, and this is the song Backlight. Now, without wasting time, let me hear it on both the Holo Audio Cyan 2 and also on the SE300 and tell you if there any difference at all. Now, I have heard the first comparison between the Holo Audio Cyan 2 versus the SE300, and I think it's quite apparent what's the difference. I mean, this is very minute difference, and I'm not saying that, you can probably hear it on the first try, and most likely you may not even hear it if your devices, such as a headphone, isn't that resolving, because there are some minor differences. I want to talk about it now. The SE300 versus the Holo Audio Cyan 2. The first most apparent one is the soundstage. The Cyan 2 is actually a touch bigger. I mean, it's like a hair bigger in both the general instruments, which is, for me, when I was hearing the starting of this Vonday song, there are some instruments playing, the drums and everything. It is just like slightly outside the ear. While if I was listening to SE300, it is at the ear or inside the ear. So it's a very slight difference if I look at my head as a space. And when then vocals come in, the vocals on the Holo Audio Cyan 2 is actually also very different placement. It is like somewhere in my forehead and slightly dispersed, a bit lighter in sound, while the SE300 was a bit more focused at my eye level and in front of my eye. So that is the difference, the soundstage and of course the vocals focus itself. So it's bit different here. I do not think that's much at all. I think the really greatest difference that I also hear out of this comparison is that the SE300 actually feels like it's showcasing the details a little bit better, while the Holo Audio Cyan 2 seems to, I would say, not like gloss over them, but more like it is on the slightly filled in sound. Filled in sound that is covering some of the details. Like the details mold in together or meld in together with the rest of the song. So there is some slight difference there. Now, I don't know whether is that a good thing or a bad thing, so that's something to note. But let's not waste time on the first song. Let's hear the second song now. We will compare another song, and this time, since we compare Backlight from the guy who created it, Vonday, let's hear it from Edo. But of course, not Backlight. I'll hear I Know Akuruhi. Now that is a pure vocal track, and I'm interested to see how they render the difference here. Now for this particular song, I only have 3 things that I want to talk about that is different between the SE300 and the Holo Audio Cyan. The first thing is that the Holo Audio Cyan sounds a little bit warmer, just a touch warmer. Secondly, the Holo Audio Cyan sounds a little bit bigger in soundstage. And just like what happened before, is the difference in the vocals and how they focus. So on the I Know Akuruhi song, the SE300 is in the forehead in the middle, while the Holo Cyan is just slightly spread out beyond, let's say, my eyes, just slightly beyond my eyes. So the difference is small. It's between just, above the eye and then spread out beyond the eye. Very, very small difference between the SE300 and the Holo Audio Cyan 2. And then also, as I said just now, the warmness of the Holo Audio Cyan does, I would say, tend to make things a little bit smoother, and SE300 seems like, it's giving more details, but I don't think it's really true. If you listen carefully, both of them do render all the details that's available in the song. And the last thing I did notice after trying, especially the chorus of the song, where there is actually a drum that's hitting. Now this drum is not very powerful, but you can feel and hear the difference. The SE300 is a little bit rounded, just a touch rounded, while the Holo Audio Cyan 2 is actually very clean. The impact, it's very responsive. Like the drum hits, withdraw, you hear the impact, and it's very fast and clean. Now, the quantity itself, I don't think there is much difference. It's just how the bass is rendered. It's just this very slight difference. It's kind of like SE300 is like I don't know, a tube M bass, but semi-solid state mid, and then Holo Audio is the opposite. It's like a tube M general sound, but the bass itself is kind of like solid state, very clean and impactful. The Holo Audio 2 Cyan output, when it comes to the RCA, is slightly higher than the SE300 in line-out mode. So that's some slight difference, but I don't think it attributes much. I mean, just very slight, and I can adjust the volume knob just to compensate it a little bit. I mean, it's very, very small difference here. Maybe a dB or 2. Overall, I do think that the experience between both of them are more similar than different. Generally, they are relatively smooth sound to me, no very weird artifacts or anything here. And then the difference is the rendition, where the Holo Audio Cyan 2 is a little bit warmer, a little bit bigger, the bass is a little bit cleaner, but the SE300's ladder DAC gives a little bit more like apparent clarity. It's a bit more precise sounding, or should I say more accurate sounding to me when it comes to the mix itself, while the Holo Audio Cyan 2 seems like there is a touch of coloration. But you know, when you actually go online and see I'll say as charts, it doesn't show that such things are happening. So I do not know, you know, whether is it really a case that there is all these slight differences, or is maybe, you know, smaller things like the preamp and what's not, because ultimately these are not both exact devices, and you know, preamps are also built differently. Preamps do color the sound, so maybe it's not so much of the DAC, but it's also the amp and then the feedback, the input and what's not. So many factors to it, but at least it's consistent across two songs that the Cyan 2 is a little bit warmer, a little bit more dispersed in the vocals, a little bit bigger in soundstage, and the bass impact, at least when I'm hearing I No Akurihi, is a little bit cleaner, a little bit more impactful, but the quantity is the same. Other than that, I really don't hear much difference. You know, it's both are equally exciting or not exciting when the song is mastered accordingly. So I don't hear any difference, like some people say like extended treble or what's not. I know, no such things. It's really that 4 small little differences that if you listen very, very carefully and using something like the DCA Stealth, which is very detailed and close back, then maybe you can detect it. So that's really about it. This is my very first look of the Holo Audio Cyan 2. Now, is this a DAC I will buy? Not too sure. I think I need more tests, but initial test, you know, the comparison between both of them, it is very small difference that I'm not too sure whether it is like really, really, really worth it or not. If you have another ladder DAC or DAC at home, maybe some comparison will, you know, tell you whether there's a difference. Now, I'm very excited also to try in the future versus the AKM and also the Live Harmony, because I do know like the Live Harmony has very similar signature, but it's even more, I would say, as dispersed for the sound. The sound stage is even bigger there. It's also smoother sounding for most of the tracks, while between both of these, I don't actually hear the smoothness difference. So I'm excited to try the Holo Audio Cyan versus the Live Harmony in a separate video in the future itself. And also interested to try against AKM based DAPs. So I have the Shuanling M9 Plus. That DAP is an AKM driven quad AKM 4499. It is a slightly warmer sound and gives a relatively big soundstage. I do not know whether if I was to compare it with the Holo Audio Cyan 2, will I get a very, very comparable sound. By the way, the Live Harmony never felt too warm to me, but this one actually does feel a little bit touch warmer than the SE300. So I don't know. You know, audio impressions are very flaky. Direct comparisons are probably the closest. If not, it'll be an A/B blind test, which requires a few people to try it out. And that's really about it. The first look of the Holo Audio Cyan 2. Oh yes, one last thing. I did notice that plugging in, plugging out automatically detects the reading here, USB. So I think it is a very smart system. When you pull out, it knows that you disconnected everything, it resets itself, and then when you plug in, it will just connect to whatever that's plugged in very quickly without hassle. It's a good thing. I will try out also with the balance connector in the future, and till the next time, I'll see you again. Bye bye.